from a prior service guy side going to selection, you have to have a lot more self-discipline than the 18 X-ray that's going to be forced to do those things on a daily basis. In addition to that, prior service guys tend to have a lower selection rate because they are balancing deployments, they're balancing trips to the field, they're balancing unit PT a lot of times. A lot of times their command doesn't support them going, so they just make them do PT with the rest of the unit, which is obviously not tailored to selection a lot of times. So from a train up standpoint, it's a lot more difficult on the prior service side. Now, pros and cons wise, pros of going 18X is that higher rate of being selected. Cons is it's a bigger risk, usually a longer contract. If you don't make it, you go needs of the Army. Pros of going the prior service side is you have your MOS, maybe you get additional skill sets, maybe you get a deployment, whatever that can have indirect benefits of going to selection. Cons of it is you're not going to have as good a train up as you would in the 18X pipeline. Now, someone made a comment on it. I think one of his cadre or his drill sergeants at OSIT said that 18 X-rays have a 40% selection rate and prior service is like a 19% selection rate. And it is accurate, but I think it's easy to look at the percentages like, oh, 18 X-rays have a 40% chance of being selected. That means I have a 40% chance of being selected, or 19%, vice versa. But the odds or the percentages that you see of guys being successful at selection, they don't account for all of the people that didn't really want to be a Green Beret. They didn't really, show up on calls like this, be, putting in the effort to get their physical performance right, to train on a consistent basis. It's just something that they maybe told themselves that they wanted to do, or maybe got talked into trying out by a buddy. There's so many guys from the regular Army that really, like, if you dive into it, don't have any real intentions or desire or like burning passion to be a Green Beret. It's just something that they want to try. And there's such a lower risk factor for the prior service guys, because what happens if you don't get selected? You go back to your unit and you continue doing what you're doing. So that means when you're doing your 12-mile ruck, or when you're lost at land nav in the middle of the night, like, you start talking to yourself and your brain starts saying, man, your job really isn't that bad. Like, you don't have to do any of this stuff at your job back home. And the only downside of quitting at that point is the facing the individuals in your unit, which most of the guys go back and they just lie and said that they got hurt or whatever anyway. Nobody knows. So guys just go and tell them whatever stories they want to tell. So that is why I think that there is such a lower rate of selection on the prior service side, because typically if you were to take a pool of guys, there's going to be much less buy-in. Whereas the 18 X-rays, they have a huge risk. They just signed this big contract. They will go needs of the Army and have their entire career decided by the Army. Not their entire career, but maybe the next year. So there's much more buy-in, much less likely to just quit and disappear in the middle of the night.